Here we are coming at you from our little bubbles here, our little private areas. That's kind of how it works. We get together, we share information. The more information we share, the closer we get. It's called a relationship. It's how you get close to somebody. You share private, intimate details. You share each other's privates. Join us. So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
We're old friends dissecting one topic at a time. People, technology, media, we've got it all covered.
Each discussion here is a deep dive into our unique perspective. The taboo, forbidden subjects, they're all on the chopping block, baby. We don't pander to popular opinion. We might even get a little bit dirty.
Warning, this podcast may contain mature language and sexual content and is for infotainment purposes only.
So join us. Have a good time.
Open up your ear holes, because we're going to fondle your follicles. Alrighty then.
Wow.
We're talking about secret stuff. Culturally accepted secret stuff.
Whoa.
Privacy.
Yeah, privacy. This is going to be my favorite episode today.
Oh, yeah?
I think most people listen. It's going to be their favorite episode today. Do you think people watch like 3 episodes in a row?
Oh,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. I do like 2, and that's it. That's the most I've ever listened to at one time.
I think I do 1. That's what I do. Sometimes I have to break it in half because it's like a commute type thing. Mm-hmm. This is a commute podcast, but also at home podcast, and also an at work podcast. Anything you do in your public or private life, folks.
Yep.
It's okay if you listen to us. It's okay with me.
It's fine with me too. I mean, this is in the public arena now, right? So they can.
It is, but I think if people are going to listen to this podcast, it's probably in their private lives.
Yeah, they're probably not going to share it with people. It's not going to be on speaker.
You're not going to broadcast it. Yeah. Can you imagine you're the carpool to work?
Share each other's privates.
Yeah.
Can I share my
broadcast at work? Private sharing. So the big one's privacy, right?
Yeah.
I love to start an episode with a definition. It's like my favorite thing.
Oh, sure.
Privacy, the state or condition of being free from being observed or disturbed by other people. The state of being free from public attention. That's one common definition. There's one other one. One's rights to keep their personal matters and relationships secret. That was a little darker. I like it.
Yeah. So the part that I read into was that secrecy and privacy are very similar, but there's a cultural acceptance of the amount of secrecy that you can have. So if you're trying to keep something secret from others on purpose that is not within the private realm, so something that is like kind of unnecessarily private, that's a secret.
Interesting. I didn't look up the definition there. So hold on. Go over that again. Something in my private life is private. That's just regular. That's me stuff. Mm-hmm. If I have private information that involves other people's private lives, it's a secret or not really?
It's where the culture draws the line at what you're supposed to reveal about yourself, which is actually very little. It's such a vague definition that it's highly debatable what is private and what is public. And in a lot of cases, a lot of cases there's an objective area that's defined that is your private area and areas. And
is a perfectly framed picture of my brunch in that California little Airbnb we stayed at private? If I took the picture and didn't post it anywhere?
If it's inside of your home, yes.
Yeah, okay. No, it's in an Airbnb in California.
It is now
a special brunch location.
That is public. Anyone can use that image against you in the court of law and prove that you were in California for those murders.
Mm-hmm. Could come up later. Weird. How about all your Facebook pictures? They're private, right?
So this is a weird one.
Oh no. We're gonna get there later anyway, but you got us there early.
You started off with the hard one, or the most pertinent one.
All right. So What's like the first thing that's private? Like,
Your
we all
house.
live in communities, so we
Yeah.
got doors and walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put up, all the barriers to keep yourself away from being what? Naked in front of people? If you're changing your clothes? You don't want them
What
seeing you all
else?
the time?
What else do you do in your house? Your like very first setup. You take your poos, your
Mm-hmm.
pee-pees most of the time in there.
Most of
You do
the
your your coitus.
coitus. Coitus.
I don't know. Coituses. Do your coituses occur indoors?
Yeah.
Depending on who you are, I guess that's probably where it's going on. Your childbirths are inside, right?
Yeah, if it's a medical arena, there's all those HIPAA laws. They protect you from
Procedures.
revealing medical information, private information about yourself.
Make me lick my lips, folks. I'm sorry. Medical information does that to me.
Oh, I can't wait to reveal all your medical information. It's kind of a weird. It's a weird idea because it's not necessarily cross-cultural. Each culture treats different things as private and not
Private.
like the African tribes that are just like naked all the time, or
That's right.
what was it? Naturists, naturalists.
Nudists? Just
Well,
nudists, I think.
nudists too, yeah. But I think naturalists are like the people who
Is it
believe that
naturalists?
like any sort of like natural thing is fine and it shouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
So like a 75-year-old dude who can get a boner can just whack it around some like teenage girls. I mean, I'm talking to a naturalist,
It's
not you.
I think a
Hey,
naturalist.
is that normal?
The approach
That's
for
that.
naturalism is that you would accept someone's body as it is and not be sexually aroused by it because it's now become a norm.
Well, he's just doing it around them. I'm not saying it's at them.
He's aroused for some other reason. He loves sunsets.
he's, he's cranking it to his favorite sunset.
Let's skip right to the jail because I'm going to go to prison.
Oh.
So I read a story about the privacy in prison, which there is none. If you're in a cell, you're with somebody. If you're taking a poop, it's within 6-10 feet of somebody
For
else.
the record, there's like Hell in the Cell, which is a WWF event that used to happen yearly. That was one of the better ones.
Okay.
I was going to divulge some information about it, but I couldn't remember one instance from Hell in the Cell, so I had to cut myself short. Sorry, go back to prison. I'm sorry.
So if you're pooping,
Oh no,
you don't have any privacy. If you're taking a shower, you don't have any privacy. And changing clothes, the same thing as showering. So
what if Bill Gates went to jail? He would have like his own toilet, right?
probably it's probably made of gold. They have a golden trash can.
Yeah. They make those. Listen to the trash episode, everybody. That's episode
$2,500. The proceeds go to some rich guy who's already too wealthy to receive his money. He doesn't know where to put it. But so the story, that's terrible poor. So
it was fine. Drippy. Anyway, jail.
The story I read was that it becomes very strange and weird because you, as a human being, you need privacy in order to develop your self-identity. The private times that you have with yourself is a moment of growing and a moment of becoming autonomous. So you can create your personality in those times aside from everyone else that may be trying to influence you, project onto you, or be introjection. So introjection is the idea of taking ideas from somebody else and absorbing it into yourself.
Interesting. That's weird because then I guess you become a hive mind. Like there's really no like all the prisoners kind of take on a certain persona.
Yeah,
that's why your gang is your persona.
Because you can't
whoever you're with or
yeah.
whoever. Yeah, you can't shower without them. You can't. Man, there's a lot you can't do.
It's really like weird. I don't know. So it's like dehumanizing. So when you get out, I feel like if I were in prison for a long time and I would have lost all those like levels of privacy, I'd have no shame, I guess, for anything. So, but I have private thoughts. I would still have those. But sharing that with somebody, like your physical body, if you were to like start a relationship and get intimate, like them seeing you naked, well, I mean, depends on what you're trying to do.
Okay.
But like sharing that with somebody now has lost its value, don't you think? Your
Not
privacy has been
necessarily.
violated.
Then you say, like, does every relationship that was that comfortable with each other devalue a future relationship? Where if you know, all my exes live in Texas or something? Is that the expression?
All my exes live in Texas.
I think that's a thing.
I don't know. Do you every successive girlfriend or wife, depends how many you have, does that cause you to lose the excitement? I mean, you're still excited, but
No, it starts over. But that's what I would argue happens as a prisoner. I mean, it's not like they like, all my bodily functions. Everyone watched me poop for years. Now I'm with you. I have to poop with the door closed, honey. You know,
I don't.
it's special again.
I no longer. Yeah, I think you lose that. I don't think you can get it back. I think you lose that sense of privacy, the sense of need, and it's
a
no
different
longer
person.
like
It's a whole different relationship. It's not. She wasn't in jail. She's not a jail buddy. I don't know. She's your new buxom bride to be. She's got like double D's. She bounces when she talks. She's got that cute little curly Q thing. She does. She's from Texas. Y'all know what goes on down in the South.
Okay,
does that thing.
Keep going.
With her hair.
Keep going.
Anyway, does that thing with her hair.
I'm just gonna close my eyes for a moment.
You do that. You treat her entirely differently than the guys from jail who used to hoot and holler if you could do a crapper that was so high it went above the water or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a whole different everything.
So you started with masturbation, owing. The story I read about prison was that they prefer to do it in the shower because that's the most private time, or when they
aren't there people around.
Yeah, there's like there's like he said there was like a half wall and like 4 people in the shower at the same time, but you feel like that's a private, I guess a private time.
As private as it's gonna get.
Yeah, or they have like a cellmate, and then you both decide to wait till quiet time and not mention what's happening. Yeah, it's called a FAP. FAP. That's a good keyword for this episode.
Wow. So do you know why actually I don't know why they call them privates. Do you?
The definition I got was intimate parts.
Okay.
So
why?
Personal or private parts? I don't know. So the list is that for both genders, buttocks, anus, perineum, and mons pubis. And then you like that?
I love hearing you say the science terms. That gets me all rowdy.
Woo! For males, we got the penis and the scrotum. I know you like that one.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're up there. Oh yeah, baby.
For females, it's the vulva and the pudental cleft and breasts.
We know where that is, folks. Give me a map. I'll show you.
Yeah. As long as there's directions on that map.
Take it to a gas station, unfold it.
Yeah. Can you show me where the pudental cleft is?
Wait, who's coming is like west. We're going to head to the west. And then after you go west, are you saying east or west? I'm saying to the west. Anyway, you're going to go back and go to the west. Uh-huh. And then you just say, yeah. And you go do what you got to do.
So I guess it involves like bodily shame. Like wherever things come out of your body that you waste, or arousal. I guess things come out of your body there too. Or procreation, which I guess things come out of your body there too, right, baby? All those things. So the weird part is, so like boobs on a woman versus, I guess tits on a woman versus tits on a man. Nipples, areola. Correct. What's the?
I'm just trying to throw as many keywords as you can out.
Yes, I am. So like, why? I don't know why we consider women's areas private versus men's. Probably because men are aroused by it. Women probably don't.
Yeah, but would they be if it was always on display?
If men's were private and women's were not?
Oh, how awesome would that be?
flip the stage.
We're going to flip the stage, folks. Any women want to send in topless photos? Any men want to send in covered top photos?
Oh, we're going streaking! And a whole bunch of guys just throw their bikini tops off run down the beach.
You know what's weird? I'm not aroused by that, but I'm aroused by the thought of that.
By you being one of the guys?
Grown men? Nah, just a bunch of them. Woo! Going down the beach. I'm like, yeah, let those guys have a grand old time. Look at them go.
Yeah.
So the first use of privates as a term for your hoo-hoos was like 1305, if I had to guess.
Oh yeah.
Shakespeare, Hamlet. Shakespeare's like he's breaking down borders. Oh, I saved it. It was like you spending time with her. I'm breaking it down because I took a screenshot, but my phone's all the way over there. I'm like breaking the mood.
Yep.
It was you spending time with her often, and he went, I in her privates. We and a wink, like kind of a I in her privates. You follow? And he was like, I. And it was like guy talk. It's like, oh, you're spending time with her, huh? Oh yeah, with her privates, eh? Which is interesting because at the time, privates was also what you called a citizen who held no public office. Which is also interesting because public is everyone can see your life. Everyone can do personal attack ads in you. We love personal attack ads on politicians. It's my favorite thing. But someone who's not in public, we're going to bring it up. Someone who's not in public office is a private citizen. So like they're privates. And yes, I want to talk about our favorite attack ad of all time.
Yeah, don't do it right now because I'm.
Dude, can you write up the name or bring up the name?
Oh, that's gonna be. I don't even know how to pull up that guy's name.
I'm Paul Gozer. Is it Gozer?
I think it is. That sounds really similar.
Anyway, it's really funny because the whole ad is it's done real well, and I'm sure everyone's seen it by now. Look it up. If not, I'll ruin it for you.
I'm against Paul Gozer.
I'm against Paul Gozer. He doesn't help the farmers. And then it's like a woman and it says biologist. She's like, I'm against Paul Gozer because he don't help biology. And I'm like, who cares? Like, this is the stupidest commercial. And it's like 5 people long. I'm against Paul Gozer and I'm a football coach. I think he just doesn't have the people in mind. And I'm like, who the hell cares? Who are these people? It was the stupidest group of people. It was like 6 people. I was like, none of them are scientists. None of them rule the world. I was like, who cares? And then it's like, it's like Paul Gozer. My name is Mary Gozer. I'm Paul Gozer's brother. And the next person goes, I'm Paul Gozer's brother. And then it's like all 6 of them are like, I'm Paul Gozer's brother.
All his family.
And they were like, and I'm voting for the other guy. And I was like, oh, shit. And then there's a smiling picture of this other dude running. And he's like, I'm so-and-so. Vote for me. And it's like, oh, shit. You just got 5 of his family members to stab him in the back. For a commercial. Such a good commercial.
Like every single family member.
But by the way, you do have to be a real piece of shit if you got 6
all
total
of your
brothers,
siblings hate you,
and they all hate you enough to go on live TV or a commercial and record themselves saying they'll vote for the other guy. That's bad. Now, if he has 30 brothers and sisters, like 6 isn't bad.
It's got good odds, actually.
Right? Like, that's just the 6 that hate me. But if you only got 6, that's not a good sign. I'll vote for the other guy.
I don't even remember the guy's name. Paul Gozer. Yeah, not Paul Gozer.
Gozer, my neighbor, my brother.
Anybody but.
Which brought us back to private citizen.
Yeah.
Private citizen has their own lives. It's not on public display. A private citizen can cheat on his wife or kick a bunch of kids in the forehead. I don't know why I picked that. I just thought it was something that a politician could do.
Does things to children. I don't know why you hate children so much.
No, I don't. I'm saying that, to me, that emphasizes a bad person. Like, you could say whatever about kids. It's like, oh, that guy's bad.
But even like public personas, like if you're a politician, information is not allowed to be leaked about your private address, your private phone or email or anything.
What about like HIPAA, stuff like that?
Yeah, your medical records. And
Paul Gozer has warts.
his private warts. His private warts.
But here's the thing. If that information does perhaps leak, I mean, there's no putting it back. And he can't deny it, can he? I mean, you can deny it, but...
Yep. I guess there's legal repercussions for whoever leaked it. So this happened with... Oh, crap. I forget his name, and I have it somewhere hidden.
I don't
here.
know. What? Someone's medical? I'll stall. You just gotta tell me. I'm not sure what we're shooting for here.
No, this happened to like one of the judges in like a hearing recently, and it was
one
of the
his name? Kavanaugh.
It might have been Kavanaugh's judge, whoever that was. I don't remember the guy's name.
I can't remember now.
There was somebody who had worked as an intern in like a political party, and he had all the information about the judges on the panel. So he released their private information while they were quizzing him, interrogating him. So they released private documents, which is called doxing.
I know what doxing is.
Yeah. The internet.
Doxing is
practice.
wild.
It's like a hacker. It's a hacker movement. Anonymous.
It is.
WikiLeaks.
So, before we get to that, because that's like a whole area in and unto itself. It's really big. And it also talks about our uses online. What I wanted to talk about real quick was that I just did a couple stats from statista.com. It's stats for baristas.
For coffee makers?
Correct. 50% of the world has regular access to the internet. Whether it's good internet or not. Damn it. Really should have brought my phone for this episode.
I agree with your stat. I think I've read that before.
Okay. Well, I actually have the 17 or 14 countries that have free internet.
Entirely national internet?
Independent free. Like it's you can get internet maybe for free in China, but it's controlled and everything that you see is their reflection. It's called it's not just called free, it's called like independent private internet.
Not gonna spy on you internet.
I don't think they guarantee they're not going to spy, but they're not going to censor it. Uncensored. So like you can look at whatever. Like you can look up, why does my country suck? You know what I'm saying?
And that doesn't get flagged.
It might, but I'm saying in China you can't even look it up. In most countries you can't even look up certain things. Those websites are just blocked. In America or whoever, or a bunch of these other countries, if you look up how to make a bomb, you can look it up. You can find that website. I'm sure it gets flagged. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. This story actually came up about people researching for, intellectual purposes how to make a bomb. And it's borderline. You would think like the public outcry would be, this person's going to bomb somebody like immediately. Like you think it's going to be a terrorist act. And then those people are like, well, I'm kind of curious how to make a bomb. And then they research it themselves. And it's like, so it could be any number of things. Like you're writing a story and you want to make it accurate to how a terrorist would do something. So that information of you searching for something, that should be private too, because other people could be outraged by it. You could be injured. Other people could do things against you. Try to blackmail you. Think bad things could happen if they know. Yeah, they could dox you. So you don't want to have your private information out there.
No, 100%. 77% of all page loads on the internet contain at least one tracking device, like a cookie, trace, a footprint, something that returns information to a different website or a different ISP server. Anytime you go anywhere, correct, keeps your information. Even if it's just as simple as, I registered that he visited here. Ba-boom, ba-boom. So you like that little noise? Ba-doom, ba-doom. Ba-doom. Another thing that's of importance is 13% of social media accounts were hacked in 2016. Whether that's my grandmom's Facebook or my great aunt, her Twitter, or someone's Instagram, they're locked out because of it. And don't click on it. It's a virus I sent everybody, or your email, or whatever. 13%. Not a lot, but way up from previous years. I was going to jump to the next section, but I can't remember how. In my head, I had it really figured out.
Social media, Facebook?
No, I was going to go into the hardware, software regulations thing real quick.
You want to go to like the EU, the European Union? How they actually have laws on the books about general data protection?
That was pretty recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, so 2016.
So they say there are three things that are in a standoff right now. It's like the TED Talk did it really good. It was like, the three-way standoff. Sometimes it's a Mexican standoff. Sometimes it's a Taiwanese standoff. Sometimes it's a Japanese. It's just whatever nationality the people in the standoff are, they call it that. probably inappropriate.
The more people
just
you
gonna call it
name, the
standoff.
less offensive it becomes. It's a Caucasian standoff.
Whoever. I don't care. Yeah, it depends on, yes. Anyway, it's 3 people pointing guns at the other 2, each individual. The thing, one is hardware, like the thing you wear on your wrist, your Fitbit. Mm-hmm. Alexa, are you listening to us today?
I start listening when I hear the wake word.
Yeah, right.
For more information and to view Amazon's privacy notice, visit the help section of the Alexa app.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Google, are you listening to us?
Speed metal is great for when you need to headbang but don't have much time.
Speed metal is great for when you need a headbang. She's absolutely right, but you don't have much time. That was good. Didn't answer the question at all.
Sidestepped it. I see.
Good move. Mm-hmm. Like things we carry, our Fitbits, our phones, some of the GPSs, our cars, our Alexas, our Hey Googles, all that stuff. Even our TVs are able to listen in and record what we're doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's the hardware, physical items we use, we buy, we love.
Sorry, I can't help with that yet.
This is going to get annoying.
Yeah. The Internet of Things. Everything is connected and everything's recording everything you're doing.
Well, number 2 is the software or the companies, the companies that control the information. Whether it's your cell phone company, AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, Google, Apple, Garmin, Facebook, Samsung, your internet service provider. They're pretty big players on all these. Mm-hmm. They control the flow of all that information that you're hoping is private. Lastly, we have regulations. Who's regulating who? Is there regulations on the hardware? Is it on the software? You were just mentioning the European
Union
privacy agreement.
Yep.
Yeah. What was their agreement? I actually didn't write it down. But
General Data Protection Regulation, 2016.
Does it work?
It essentially says that if you're processing and collecting data, then you need to do it inside the EU and keep the data inside the EU. So you can't release private information about somebody that would identify them and correlate them to some certain group. So if you have specifics about who they are as a person that someone could use against them, you're not allowed to release it. You have to make sure it's obfuscated or made confusing.
Interesting. I didn't know that's a rule in America, but it sort of is, because Google, Facebook, everybody, they get all your information, they sell it. Mm-hmm. It's super valid information. Facebook sells your data. There's a reason these apps, these things we sign up for are free, because we're paying for it in some other way. Right now, it's your data. The things you like, the things you click on, the places you want to vacation, and the information is being sold to third parties, aggregates.
Personally identifiable information.
PIIs, is that what you're saying? PIIs, folks, check them out. Do you know what's interesting about PIIs? They're not allowed to use them directly.
Yeah.
They can't say this is so-and-so's data. He's a 30-year-old male. He loves anime. He collects swords. I collect swords like crazy. I don't. I wish. It's actually really cool. I'm going to start. What they have to do is, you used a word a minute ago, they have to jumble it so that it's not identifiable as a...
Yeah, you have to make it so it's like groups them enough that you can't tell who it's actually talking about. Like you can report statistics out, but you can't say Dan and his full name loves this version of this website which shows him naughty bits.
But you're absolutely right. Yeah. They have to collect all this data on you. They got your social, they got your probably pretty much every piece of information from you. But it's illegal to just give that to anyone else.
Yep.
So they have to just go blah, 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 make it look like this 30-year-old male I know. He does this, I know. You can even go to Google, check your advertising section. I turn mine off. Like personalized ads, they're automatically turned on for almost everything you do. I turn mine off, but I turn it on just for the episode, and it like keeps a log on you of what it thinks your interests are, what it thinks your age is, what it thinks like Northeast, America or United States. Mine was like into fishing, photography. I was like, I've never fished in my life. So it gets it wrong a lot, but that's not the point. The point is it's trying to spy on me. Like it knows he likes sports. He likes this. And it's like, might be interested in these movies. And I get my Google every morning recommendations. Like if you
all the
swipe through
stories. Yeah. You go
Google
down.
now, actually,
I
most of them
yeah, they do apply.
are pretty decent. Most of them are decent. Now, I'm annoyed that sometimes, like, it's like, I like the game Doom 2016. Every day there's a Doom story. I'm like, I don't care.
Who's writing that many stories about Doom?
Yeah, I'm like, I get it. I get it. Doom Forever's coming out, or whatever it's called, Eternal or Forever. Did you see that? It has a grappling hook.
What?
Oh, you didn't see the reveal? It was like 2 weeks ago. Okay, you should. It's not out yet, but it was my favorite game of 2016. Anyway, the sequel's coming out, and there's like this grappling hook feature where you can shoot something out of your arm. It attaches to one of these guys, and you can swing to it, or swing off of their body to another platform. And you have like a melee weapon that's like a sword now that just like chops. I don't know. It comes out of your arm. It's pretty badass looking. Anyway, I think it's gonna be awesome. So, good job, Google, sending me all that to me.
Yeah, thanks for spying on me. I appreciate it.
Keep it coming. But all this stuff gets collected. We don't know whether the software is the bad guys, the hardware is the good guys, because we're willingly signing up for the software. We're willing paying more and more money for $1,000 for phones and hundreds of dollars for these Fitbits that just follow us and track my heart rate.
Medical record, essentially.
Yeah. And we're giving that information to
big data
third parties who will then sell it to who's going to buy it.
Marketers.
There's no law that says who or what they can or can't sell it to, right?
Yeah, I guess.
In fact, there's no law. They're trying to pass it in California now that says Google or whatever software company even has to tell how much information they've given to the third party. That's crazy. I thought they would have to write down like, hey, we told this company this, and this. There's what we told them. They don't have to. Not by law.
It's
the Wild West.
It's kind of a weird thing because I guess you could give them a package and record like
credit card, right?
Like if someone wants, I want 30-year-old males who are interested in this, and I'm going to try to market something to them. I was like, I mean, that's kind of private information because if it was public,
illegal, is it? I don't know.
No, because if it was publicly known, I guess people would use that against them. It's the same thing with
isn't it kind of publicly known though? Like if I told you a guy's a fan of Doom and he's a fan of podcasts and he's 30 and he lives at home in his basement, you could probably sell him a lot of products. You already know half of the stuff he's going to buy, don't you?
You kind of do.
Do you need more data than that? I don't know. If you had more data, you could probably make even more specific products. He's into Rick and Morty or something. Oh, I know this guy. I'm gonna send him some T-shirt pictures. I don't know. I guess it works. I mean, it wouldn't pay if it didn't work, right?
That's true.
Right now, I just read an article that said data is worth more than oil right now.
What measure of data are you using?
Like metadata.
Petabyte?
Man. You better believe it, dude.
Exabyte?
Is worth more than a gallon of gasoline, folks. It could. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea how that would work. And who's buying and who's selling.
What I want to bring up is the 3 TED Talks that I watched today. One was by a woman. I didn't write down her name because I was running on the treadmill. I exercise. That's why I look so good. She gave a TED Talk that was very good about privacy and why it matters. And it got uploaded to YouTube. And she was very upset because the top comment was, I'd F that. And the second comment was like, yeah, I'd F that too. And the third comment was like, you guys are not respecting her. She's a woman, but she has a good point. Maybe if you guys watch the whole article. But also, I'd probably F that too. And it was like all 3 top comments. She was getting trolled big time.
Yeah.
She talked about like Gamergate and the problem with doxing, and people doxed other people that she stood up for, and they were given real life death threats and rape threats and all this stuff. And I was like, oof.
Yeah, so it's a blackmailing kind of what's that word with E? What's the E word?
Threat.
Entrapment. No, entrapment. Is that?
Maybe not. I mean, a little bit. We'll get into that at the end. Yeah, I think so.
So these people are trying to be manipulated into like a public arena that forces them to act a certain way. It's the same thing with voting. It's like voting is an anonymous thing so that no one can tell you whether to vote Republican, Democrat, or that other party that no one votes for except for weirdos. But yeah, the Green Party, Libertarian.
Green Party for a while. I don't know. Still is Libertarian.
So that's kind of a weird thing, though, for like voting. If you cast a vote, they don't really. I mean, they know who it is, right? Shouldn't they? How would you? But you can't report that out. You just have to trust that the company. Yeah, the company that's recording your vote is saying that you are the person you say who you are, and
you voted for the person you say you voted for.
Yeah, and you're not duplicating it. You're not modifying something along the way. Nice sip. So it's a weird mix that like there's certain things that need to be private because you shouldn't be influenced from outside forces that can control or watch or verify that you did that. It's kind of a necessary thing.
They could scare you, coerce you, force you to act a certain way.
Yeah. Which
kind of happens with the internet in general.
Mm-hmm.
So one talk I watched was how your data is worth money. Kind of what I just discussed. Like eventually in the next 4 to 5 years, because this is 2 year ago talk. I didn't write his name down either. I only wrote one name. We'll get to it. But he said within around 2020, he figures there will be a company that decides to say, hey, Google's collecting your data, Apple's collecting your data, all these people are collecting your data, and it's without your knowledge. They're not paying you. Guess what? We'll pay you. Give us as much information about yourself as you want. You like Argyle socks? You like J. Crew? This is your size? We'll pay $8 for that. We'll pay $18 for it. And you know what? We're just going to send you ads for J. Crew. I'm telling you right up front, this is what we're doing. Here's your money. Do it with us. Don't do it with Google. Screw them.
They did the same thing with receipts. You could take a picture of a receipt, show everything you bought, and they would give you, 5 cents per receipt. So people would just keep sending those receipts in.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, I mean, he thinks that will happen because capitalist society usually goes in that direction. And right now, it's kind of mysterious. Like, no one knows the laws. No one knows who collects the data. No one knows this, that. It's all kind of mysterious. But eventually, markets all get saturated. Eventually, we follow the dollar. I think eventually he might be onto something. I don't know if that's here right now, but it makes me a little less scared about a dystopian future because there will be other companies cutting each other's throats and trying to use our data against us and not use it against us and our government and selling it to the highest bidder. And really, it all gets muddled and eventually looks like, hey, the TV is going to ruin life for everyone, but it doesn't.
What's your most sensitive piece of information, your most private piece of information that you would not want to get out?
Probably like what I whack it to. Right?
That's what I thought too.
I mean, good. I was like, is that bad to think that?
Yeah. It's like, I guess people could just shame you in such a way that you would.
But here's my thing. Everyone's thinking the same thing, right? Probably.
I don't know what you whack it to.
I know.
You're not going to share it for the podcast. I understand.
I'm not sharing. Well, it's here's the trick.
Long pause.
I already know what I'm going to do. It's a long con.
Uh-huh.
And I'm saying it, so it probably doesn't count. But I'm going to whack it to every category. And I'm talking not the short list, the long list. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. I'm going to whack it to every category.
50 categories there.
Oh, no. There's like 1,000 if you go to the right site. Anyway, I'm going to whack it to each category, okay? For a week. I don't know how long it's going to take me. It's going to take me years, dedication. I'm going to work through it. Even if it's a category that disgusts me, I don't like, doesn't do anything for me. Nah, I don't know. Maybe it's my favorite category, but I only get a week with it. I don't know. I'm going to do it. And then at the end, if someone says, well, guess what he whacks it to? I'm going to say, buddy, give me a minute. And I'm going to give you a list of paper just for Here's a list, pal. Sit down while I read it.
Yeah.
And eventually, I mean, I'm gonna touch the borders with so many other groups that eventually, like, yeah, someone in the back will yell, yeah, for every one that I read out loud.
I can see an auditorium filled with people. Yes, we got the gonzos back there, and they're like, yeah,
hey, sitting,
yeah, it's like a congressional
point of view, bang bus. Someone in the back's like, yeah, that's me, and eventually, I just have the whole crowd going, granny panties, and someone's going, that's me. I'm Spartacus, and all these people are standing with me, and I've raised such a fervor that I've just instilled the true meaning of man, and I'll be the only politician left. That's my dream. I don't know. One day. Yeah! Just everyone standing up and cheering.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Wouldn't it? Anyway, it takes a lot of dedication. I'm not sure if I'm up to it yet. I might start next week. Who knows?
Yeah.
We're going to come back to that, but just the last TED Talk I saw was really good, and it was kind of... Before we get to that, I don't know. Greg Greenwald, is he famous for something?
No.
I feel like he is.
Okay.
Anyway,
sure. What's he famous for?
He did many TED Talks, probably. Okay.
Did a lot.
More than this
More than
one,
most.
but this is a good one. More than most people. He does a talk on why privacy matters. And his is that the common misconception about privacy is this. When you say, don't you care that the government's watching everything you do? The most common answer is this. Well, if you're not doing anything bad, why does it even matter?
Oh, that's not the right
answer. It's not, but it's very common. Most people say that. Well, I'm not building bombs in my basement. I don't care if the government knows what kind of trousers I wear. You know? That was my voice, because that's the kind of person that would say trousers, not pants. I love it.
Trousers.
Anyway. So then he says this sentiment that is very, very prevalent in most people. It's not in everybody, but it's very common. It really leads to one thing. Only bad people have something to hide. Correct? It's a sentiment that line of thinking gives. It's a common
sentiment, but not true.
We're not saying it's true. I'm saying that's a sentiment because most people will say that, right?
Yeah, because they're fearful that someone else is going to do something to them. So they think, oh, if I'm good and everyone's being watched, then everyone who's bad and being watched is going to get caught, and I'm going to be more protected by the man.
What's weird is then we get into who's really good and who's really bad. Which is weird to begin with. But then let's not even say that. Let's say anyone who's opposed to surveillance is now one of three things. They must be plotting to make these bombs and all that, or they're bad, or so authority might make them look to be. Like they want to do something mischievous. Questioning. Why do you want to hide? Like it's already a bad look on those people.
So there's a few things that kind of fall into this category. So like expectation of privacy in your own home, objectively that's private. If you're driving in your own car, it depends on what's happening, whether it's objective or subjective. It's actually mostly subjective. So if a cop pulls you over and he has suspicion, he's allowed to search your vehicle. But if he doesn't have suspicion, then you're allowed to have your privacy of your own vehicle. He's not allowed to search it. So if there's a beer cap on the floor, he can do whatever the hell he wants. But if there's nothing, it's out of sight. Even if there's a beer cap under your seat, he's not allowed to say, oh, I found this after the fact, and then say that was reasonable cause.
It's interesting, because what about smell? Oh, I thought I smelled weed. I thought I did.
So it
turns out I didn't.
This actually came up in a story about there was a grow house that was obviously growing weed. They brought a drug-smelling dog, to the door. He smelled weed, and then they busted in the place and arrested them. Turns out that you can't do that.
Why? Because they brought the drug-sniffing dog? That's illegal?
No, it's so curtilage. It's actually the area that is your house and around your house and any of the structures on your property. It's defined by that area, and that is actually a private area. So by invading that curtilage, you're searching. So the dog was not allowed to be there unless there was a suspicion that required him to be there. So you're not allowed to just bring police dogs to everyone's door to find and try to discover whether they're doing something illegal. It's the same thing with they do it with they used to do it with surveillance, heat sensors and IR. They would just like
Yeah.
fly a plane overhead, and the grow houses
Overhead
would be
is
hotter.
obviously.
So they would say, this is a grow house, obviously. You're not allowed to just act on the thermal image because that provides information that you couldn't otherwise gather. You couldn't just
So
visually
it's
see it.
weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
I thought it was fantastic. They tried it. They obviously were doing something illegal, but because they couldn't prove that they found it through normal means, the case got thrown out. It was a mistrial. You're fine. It's like, as long as you know, like, I'm sure they could find other ways of proving that they were doing it, but if that's your main
but
method,
not that way. Then you got to throw that out. It don't fit, acquit.
The other fact that comes from that is the curtilage it doesn't count for like empty fields. So if you have a huge property and there's no structures, the police are allowed to search that area. They're actually not searching.
Really?
They're allowed to walk the police dog through it because it's not an occupied area.
Interesting.
So if you're growing like marijuana in your backyard, you're screwed. That's not curtilage. That's open field.
Public.
Yeah,
public.
public space.
I guess because the public's not allowed to walk by it. Isn't that trespassing though? I mean, I don't know.
I think
It's
they could
real
claim
big,
that they
maybe
could.
It's not.
They could probably eye it from some angle. If you're flying overhead or something, you're like, I just saw it there, and then that's probable cause.
Saw it there. It was a giant weedo.
Yeah.
So this Greg Greenwald speech was very good. I actually suggest you maybe even listen to it, other people. It goes on to say that not only is anyone who opposes privacy just cast in a bad light, like anyone who says, raise their hand and say, well, I think we should have privacy, automatically, why? Why do you want that? You're bad, is a common perception that will pervade a lot of people. Not everyone, not intelligent people, but probably most common folk, right?
Yeah, that's like on the internet. Like, I want an encrypted connection that no one can spy on, and
Yeah.
I want to go through
Exactly.
Tor so that it
Well,
redirects
why?
all my.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
I just do it for everything. So the idea is authority wants this. Authority wants you to look like a bad guy anytime you want privacy. Do you know why? Because privacy is needed anytime there's any kind of revolt, anytime there's any kind of pushback against authority. Think about it. You have to have privacy to plot, to attack, otherwise you'd be in total control, right?
Yeah, if there's a totalitarian society, you need to be able to
just any kind of power struggle. If the group in power knows exactly what the other groups are thinking, they can stay in power forever.
That's true.
There's no turning down, right? So for there to be any kind of movement or power struggle or change in the world, there has to be privacy. He mentioned that they had created prison. The idea of a prison, I think this is in 1984, that you could actually, I don't think it was prison, I think it was society. Did you read 1984?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah.
Did you? Was that the one where the government could spy on anyone at any time in their house? Now they couldn't watch you all at once, but they could tune into your house at any given time. And the idea was you always had to act like they could be listening in, or they could be spying on you at that moment. And the idea, the thought of spying makes people act better than actual spying on them.
The influence.
Seriously.
Potential
outcomes.
Because,
well, that's the whole idea behind God, isn't it? The Abraham God or the Catholic God. He's always watching.
Omniscient.
He could be tuning in right now and seeing what what are you looking at on the computer screen?
It's going to give you a lump of coal.
God. But I mean, Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. The idea that someone could be watching you is this feeling of shame. He said shame is one of those really strong feelings that we can't even describe how powerful it is. It keeps us from, we act entirely different. Our behavior changes under the guise of watch. It does. I mean, people sing in the shower, right?
Yeah,
they sure as hell aren't singing elsewhere, right?
In the car.
So the whole message behind 1984, some people say, is that surveillance state is coming for us. It's not necessarily that we'll always be surveilled. It's that we're always worried that we will be surveilled. Like there's something that comes about where Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has stupid moments. Everyone is a little bit of a bad person. Let's say you Googled the bomb thing. Let's say you whacked into some weird porn. Let's say you were trolling some people online. You said some really nasty things. We've probably all done it at one point. We're all 16. We're all 18. We're all 15.
As long as it's not
Said some
threatening.
words. Even if it was, who knows? If you're 15, I might have. Who the hell knows what I said
Yeah,
at
I
15?
might have said things at 15. But
So hold on. So let's say we fast forward 20 years and we can pull up that information from you, a pander Dan, from 15 years ago, and use it against you.
you're gonna shame me.
Not just shame you. You probably can't run for office. You might get fired from your job. All for saying something at 15. It's kind of weird. The fact that we've created this moving database that comes with us, and what used to be a moment in time when you're 15 can be pulled forward, broadcast on a screen, and stretched out for a lot longer than 1 second.
Yeah, because
You can hold that over your head.
all the data in the world is now growing at an exponential rate. So you get petabytes, exabytes of data. Just like every year it doubles. It's ridiculous amounts. And that storage is
That's a lot of data.
yeah, I don't know that there are laws that control how long you're supposed to keep data for. I think the European Union I can't say it now. European Union was developing the right to forget, right to be forgotten. Does that sound familiar?
No, I actually don't. I didn't come across that.
You didn't touch that at all?
No, how many years? How many years?
I think it's actually, I don't know how you define it, because it becomes really weird in certain cases, because certain people are like public figures. Like if you're like a CEO of a company, like the data that is pertinent to you is also pertinent to the company. So it affects, copyrights and various things, trade secrets, proprietary information. So if that is somehow leaked,
Right. Who's to say?
yeah, if you cannot erase it from the internet, then it can be used against you.
And it can be brought up again and again. It doesn't disappear, does it?
And then also, like, if you had a crime, say you committed a crime when you were 15 or 19, past the age of a minor,
Impossible.
that could forever be linked to you. So it should be that if you're now a different person because you've matured and you've moved past whatever you've done in the past, that should disappear from your record. People shouldn't be able to Google your name and that's the first thing that pops up.
Are you Googling my name? Is there a crime associated with my name? I don't think I have any crimes.
Oh, let's see here.
Just type in my name and crime. That's the other crazy
Back
thing about
of
this whole thing.
Police car. Spit on please.
Oh. Peed on ticket. That's a good one.
How many images do you think are ahead of you in the actual?
I think there's a hockey player that's around my age. Like he's a nice hockey player and he gets a lot of pub.
Elite prospects?
He's an elite prospect? Oh my God, I haven't been keeping up with him. It's been like 4 years. Good on him. I'm glad. That's pretty cool.
You are actually the 5th image in the search.
Is anyone related to me in there?
There's a hand on your shoulder and I see blonde hair, so it might be your mom in the picture. Everyone else is completely not related to you, so you've been forgotten.
Isn't it?
Congratulations, Nick. You are no longer important to the world.
Woo!
Good.
Do you show up in yours?
Oh,
Can I do it? Hold on, because you might lie.
I could lie.
No.
There's a lot.
What did you do? Image search for your name?
Yeah, I don't see me at all, actually. There's a guy with his shirt off.
Six dude is awesome with the camera. Yeah, I like that guy. Selfie. Oh, I found you. Senior project. I know a little bit about you.
Huh.
So one of those speeches, those TED Talks, the woman said who everyone wrote I would hit that or whatever, I would F that. She paid a private investigator to use the internet and find as much about her as he could. Like dox her a little bit, like, just whatever. Because she said she's not a very online person. She's online, but she tries to keep fairly private, watches more than she speaks, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, imagine people taking non internet data and putting it on the internet for other people.
Did you know what she found? That guy found.
I have no idea.
He went through all her previous addresses where she lived.
Okay.
She didn't post that anywhere. She never recorded it, but somehow, I guess stuff follows you.
Background checks show that somehow.
Probably. All her email addresses, all her social media accounts, and then it got weird. They knew that she was in a messy divorce, and the entire divorce documents were there. You could read the transcripts and all. And she was like, whoa. And then the private investigator, after he found out where she lived, he just drove by the house and took a picture of her son hanging out in like the balcony of a window. He wasn't trying to scare her. He was just saying like, this is pretty easy. And I mean, it went on and on.
So I'm going to interrupt real quick.
Go ahead, please.
So paparazzi that taking pictures of people. In California, there was actually a law passed that said that you can't take pictures of children under a certain age because celebrities' children. Her
son was like 15 or 18 or something.
Still, that's a minor.
Okay, but it's not like a 6-year-old. I thought that's where you're going with this.
So so celebrities were being kind of blackmailed with pictures of their own children. And this happened to like a lot of them. So they passed a law so that if you're taking photos of children that are minors, there's heavy penalties against it.
I think that's not a bad idea. Now,
That makes sense.
I don't think a 17-year-old boy who's smoking cigarettes on the balcony because he hates his parents and he's wearing all his clothes and has his headphones on is off limits, though. I mean,
well, this falls under like I think if you're like a 17-year-old teenager and they take pictures of you and they say like I forget who the name was. There's a teenage girl, a daughter of somebody who was a huge celebrity, and then they put it on the internet and started mocking her. It's like that affects someone emotionally, and that just doesn't seem right.
But we'll get this though. When I used to go to school, like kids would make fun of other kids and mock them to their face. Like, I mean, that hasn't changed. It's now, I understand it's on a public forum. It makes it a little weird, but it's not like it's changed per se.
So here's another example. So when I'm going to say either Challenger or Columbia exploded, they had audio recordings of the astronauts before they died.
Did they ever make that public?
They did not. They did not.
Oh, good.
So that was a judge's ruling that said, you know, this is in the public realm, but we're not going to allow it to be public because of the distress that it will cause the family. It's like, you know, the emotional stability of people is reliant on the privacy that is given to them in certain situations.
I'm with that, actually.
I don't want to hear people screaming and yelling that I know right before they died.
Or crying and saying bye to their families and all that. Leave that for the family, I guess.
Yeah.
To bring us back up, the other
the guy that was researching, he's researching on that woman.
He was, and it was the other speaker, ironically enough, that spoke about this. Damn, what the hell was it? Finding out someone's personal information, doxing a little bit.
Like background checks, the information that you have to provide to get into, like, you know, raffles.
If you're I was a camp counselor.
Yeah.
You want to hear the most crazy part about being a camp counselor? If you're a camp counselor for 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is, summer camp counselor, they got to do background checks. I'm working with, I think mine was 1st and 2nd grade.
So where have you lived the past 5 years? Right?
Yeah. Child safety checks, whatever they're called.
Security clearances.
Yeah. Do you know, I got cleared the last day of camp.
And they never cleared you. They didn't do that ahead of time.
They were like, they collected this the week before I started. And they're like, okay, we got to go through the paperwork. Like, I forgot all about it. I mean, it went through. They gave a thumbs up, green light, overnight. I'm good. Well, it was like 5 weeks later or 7 weeks later, and they were like, oh, here's your paperwork. Everything came out good. I was like, good. Real good. Because I'm done in like 2 days. You know what I mean? I'm glad I didn't get flagged as a terrorist, child molesting, atheist. I don't know. I was trying to think of all the bad things you could be. I threw atheist in there. There was a YMCA. I feel like that's a God-fearing place. I don't know. You think?
that would they allow you as an atheist to interfere with their children's education?
Get away from the children. Get away from the children. I figured out the story.
Okay.
So the other guy who gave the TED talk, everyone was laughing at this. I thought this was great. A guy would go on trips to Europe every month or so. His wife, whatever, he suspected she was cheating on him. Well, you can actually check your location data minute by minute, hour by hour. I forget how to do it. If you have an Android device, it's automatic with your phone.
It's tracking your movements?
Everywhere you go. So he did, for example, this is what I did, and he picked a random day, September 14th, 2010, whatever it was. He said, I woke up. It looks like I started moving around this time. I left the hotel at this time. I went to a coffee shop here. I bought coffee because there's a fee on my credit card that's connected to this. I must have walked to this place. I used an Uber to get to here. So and so. He retraced his day. He's like, I didn't remember this, but yeah, that makes sense. I did all that. Makes sense. That's scary that I could figure that out, and I didn't even know I had location tracked on. So he tells a story of a man who thought his wife was being unfaithful. He checked her phone records, and she would disappear around 2 a.m. and head to this hotel on the other side of town where he knew one of her ex-lovers was. He also had access to her Fitbit, and he knew that her heart rate jumped to 157 for 20 minutes. And the audience was laughing and cracking up, and I was like, he should drop the hammer. He should drop the hammer. And he's like, oh, so you know what's going on? And everybody's laughing. And he didn't do this, but it would have been best if he was like, he checked her services one more time, found them both, and killed them with a gun. Just turned the audience into so quiet because they were all nervous, laughing, like heart rate up. But the point being, if he could figure out where they were and know that they were probably getting intimate and be really upset, he could find out where they were and kill them. That wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, crime of passion, I suppose, but that kind of is planned out, so I don't know if that
premeditated, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, regardless of whether it's, I don't care about his jail time. I care that he's going to go and shoot them both. Like, you know what I mean?
You're afraid that you're going to get shot by somebody that decides you're cheating.
No, because I'm not. Can you imagine if just my heart rate goes up when I'm at work because I'm exercising before work? Just runs in and just guns me down.
Immediately after the podcast, we can see that Nick stays down the stairs and his heart rate goes up. And we've got Gonzo, in the back there. He just loves people. He loves people so much.
Yes, he does. But I mean, it's a scary world we're living in where we give up our privacy with Fitbits and everything. We're kind of doing it intentionally. And
we're doing it right now.
Our podcast, right?
How much could we, I mean, this could all be used against us if an employer saw us. We don't share our last names because we don't want people to find it that we know. But if someone actually accidentally found it in our companies, someone would probably tell the boss, be like, hey, check out what Nick does, what Dan does. Be like, oh no.
That's a good point. This is gonna be a headache. Well, so here's my question. When I was thinking about this the other night, I said, what is privacy? It's literally the opposite of your legacy, isn't it? Is that weird?
Oh, yeah. And
it's the weirdest way to talk about it, but it kind of is, right?
A little bit. So I want to say one thing about, so your property, when you pass away, like your physical property, that goes on to your heirs, and there's laws and rules about what happens. But the information about you and what you're thinking and all of you, it's still a version of property. So under the Constitution, it's sort of covered, but they had to add a bunch of amendments and then have a bunch of rulings about what is private and what isn't. But if you were to die and you weren't like a CEO or a public figure that had a persona that was, I guess, copyrightable in a way, like it's
okay.
A business doesn't rely on you. After about, I think it's 2 or 3 months, your privacy goes away. You no longer have privacy as a corpse. Is that weird?
It did bring up my question for you.
Sure.
Which would you rather? Every move, website, text, email that you sent was not private at all. Everyone in the world could see it anytime they wanted for a full year. And then after that year, you could make them forget about it. Like amnesia type effect. Or would you rather everything's private, but in 10 years, it will all come out and everyone will be able to see it? Transparency, full transparency. Which is more important? Privacy now, privacy long term, essentially.
When does it start? Because the age it starts matters. If I'm
right now, today.
Probably I picked the 10-year one because I'm pretty.
Yeah, but then you're playing a real long game, dude. You're playing a 10-year game, and you're starting the clock now, and in 2 years, you're thinking about the 10-year game. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to do anything that drastic. I feel like if it caught me at an age where I didn't know what I was doing and I had a lot of emotions and energy.
This in mind, though, everyone could see what porno you're maybe looking at or something too.
Like, yeah, but now it's gotten kind of tame.
Missionary.
Yeah.
British missionary.
Can't wait till I can't see anything. Fully clothed. Have 45-minute discussions at full length. Full frontal discussions.
Oh, point of view. Yeah. No, someone
right at her face.
What's it called? Voyeur discussion. Yeah. You're not even there. You're just watching people discuss it.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Just like this. This is kind of the.
So here, does it matter if everyone figures out what you looked at, what you texted, what you emailed after you die?
So this is the beginning of the internet, really, is that the first time someone actually had a webcam, they recorded themselves day in, day out doing day-to-day things. And people would all tune in like it was the Truman Show and be really curious about whatever that person did. There's a physical person that did this for like years. Like regardless of what she was doing.
Or you're not sure?
Oh, I want to get the name now.
I'm just curious. I don't know the story at all. I wanted to look her up or something.
Stall.
I will. I'm flabbergasted. So
Lifecaster. Jennifer Ringley, I believe.
No, is she dead?
No, she's still alive. I think.
Is she still doing it?
No, she did it for 7 years, and she was from Pennsylvania. She's 42.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Started in 96. What would that make her? If she's 42.
Damn, she was young.
18, yeah, somewhere around that time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so she had jennycam.org. So she would record almost everything that she did, and people would be so fascinated. She'd have thousands of viewers, even though she was just sitting on the couch playing with her cat, or sitting on the couch playing with her other.
How far did she go? Was it like?
She would be naked on it too at times.
Oh, for real? She good? Oh, she knew what she was doing. Did she? It was just like living room cam.
I think it was like a small apartment, so you could see almost everything. Right, it's like a studio. Cams. Yeah.
Weird. It's also weird that people want to tune into another person's private life.
Well, this comes up when I'm like, whenever I would date people, like I'd be so curious what they were thinking of me, what were they doing, like how exciting is their life, and that makes me even more curious when someone doesn't even want me to get like on the first like ring of privacy. Like they don't even want to like associate with me and like share like one personal story. I get curious like, well, what is life for that person? So I could see people go into JennyCam and be like, oh, I want to know what one person is doing with their life. And once it gets boring, they're like, oh, I guess nothing.
Well, voyeuristically, is it a little bit like having a relationship?
Yeah, you're wondering what's going to happen. It's completely random, I suppose.
Well, it's like fabricating a relationship with that person. You know what they do in their private life. You know what they do behind closed doors. You know what they do inside their house, like that they would only show their partner or whatever. So a little bit what you're seeing is what their partner would see. So yeah. I guess maybe that's the whole draw of it.
The outside versus inside persona.
Yeah.
I guess so. Is that you feel like you're sitting on the couch and living with that person.
Yeah. It's interesting. So is that what makes a relationship special, I guess? The private parts? Any relationship.
So this is what I kind of kicked it off with, is that the whole of you is really information. If you're kissing somebody, they're receiving information about how you feel, the way you taste, how you smell. Like even if you're having sex, like that's information about you, how you interact with them, and you're sharing that with people. So on a level, all of the information that is you, your genetic information, the way you look, the way you sound, the way you talk, what you talk about, that's all private, really. Unless you're purposely sharing it with the public.
Weird. So we've gotten to this whole thing where private is what makes relationships, what makes us special, what makes us unique. And now we face a crisis where our private lives are becoming more public than ever before.
Yeah, or the public life that we're sharing is not really our life at all.
So then you brought me to one last thing. We share the best of our public life, right?
Yeah.
We pretend it's our private life, but it's the perfect brunch from California. It's only the good things we do. It's the good hair day. It's this perfect selfie. It's the right angle where you're from above because it makes you look thinner. We're giving our public persona that we broadcast is a little bit fake.
Yeah.
So everyone has in their real life some bad stuff they don't want still released to the public. But there are more and more cloying. There's more and more ways to get looks at us. There's more and more information that we don't necessarily want out there because it doesn't make us look great.
Yeah, I think when someone's watching, we act differently. I mean, I have a job where quality.
Do we have 1,000 viewers? If we have 1,000 viewers, I'm
No.
gonna shit because I was not acting like we did.
I probably would act differently if I saw a bunch of people talking.
You'd be like, there's 100 viewers. I'd be like this. Well, folks, privacy is really important to me. Notice how I pronounced my T's.
You're very eloquent.
So how we act privately is different than how we act publicly.
And that private piece is necessary to grow ourselves and understand ourselves and how we truly think away from the eye of the public or maybe even a single person or something that's recording us.
I already asked my would you rather. I just looked and I saw it and I was like, I already did. Well, I guess we're sharing our private lives right here.
One thing I've been doing, this is a personal thing. So lately, I've got a new job offer, which I've accepted. I started telling people like the salary because it's like associated with the context of the topic. That's one of the things in our culture that we generally don't share. We don't share how much we make because the other podcaster will get mad at you. Yeah. But I've been doing it purposely to figure out like where other people are in relation to me, which is probably a negative. Probably not supposed to compare yourself. But then also it lets people know where they should be, and if there's if the company is somehow not giving them proper raises, they could figure out how to go about being equal, which for people that are my friends,
so
I believe
you're sharing
they should
information
be.
that helps. Right.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
It's the same thing with certain websites do that too. You get an anonymous person say that they make this much money. You're like, oh, so this is worth it.
Yeah, right. But can you imagine if that anonymity?
Anonymity? God damn it. I got it right. Anonymity.
If that anonymity was stripped from an individual. Can you imagine if all the YouTube trolls that said, yeah, I'd F her, like were doxxed? Can you imagine if
real
all
name lives at certain address, call them on the phone number right here?
Would change the internet forever. And I almost think we're headed that way with as much information is available. So maybe we should all slow our friggin' roll and stop trolling as much. I love to troll, by the way. I'm a troll. But like I'm a kind-hearted, fun troll. I'm not like, I'm going to rape your family and kill everyone you've ever known. Instead, I'm like, LOL, get out much? Like, that's my troll. Someone's like, get out much? Like, I don't tan well? And then they're thinking about it. But I'm a good-natured troll.
You're a troll from the cartoon series with the rainbow hair. Yeah.
So, folks, to recap, information, it's private, but
Privacy.
also not.
Secrecy is your identity, how people find you, your self-discovery, intimacy, relationships, encryption.
Edward Snowden,
Julian
Assange.
All of those people.
Duck, duck, go.
Duck, duck, go.
Duck, go.
It's encrypted, right? So they don't store the information.
Yeah. They don't store any information. You can Google. I've never used them, but I respect the hell out of them.
Yeah, I don't care that people know the stuff about me.
Have you ever Googled? Oh my God, can you imagine our entire Google history? That's what would be cool. No, if like every time someone, like your grandma, your friend, someone passes away, like over the casket, they should have a scrolling thing that's just their Google search history. It just goes. And you're like, when your friend, like, oh shit.
In memoriam. And just like, I could see I want to say cascade of images. There's another word for it. But you could do like all of the videos that he ever watched, like all playing all at the same time.
All at once. We get to the porno section. It's just like a mile long.
They have like a monitor that's like 3 feet tall instead of the other ones, which are normal size.
Just all playing rapid fire all at once. That'd be beautiful.
They look at my casket, look at me, and just look over at the
Shake
porn.
their head.
Yeah, in the background. Oh boy.
God bless.
Oh lordy.
So yeah, we wrapped that up. We talked about trolling, data dodging. Data is worth money. How antitrust laws could come into effect for Google and other companies if we define clearly internet rules versus what do they run? Because it used to be antitrust was you run this, this, and this. Those are my technical terms.
Yeah, you
what is
run,
an antitrust law?
It's essentially you run from the very bottom to the very top, and you can control the prices at each level. So you can
guess what? That's what Google kind of does, except that it's undefined because it's the internet. We talked about privacy after you die. We talked about nothing is free. We talked about aggregate data. That's crazy.
The right to be forgotten and death publicity rights. What happens with your privacy when you die? What happens to all your social media when you die? Is that yours?
I don't know. I think that's really weird when someone keeps like their friend who passes and like someone keeps the account going.
Yeah.
It's like, this is Julie's death day. Remember her. And it's like, yeah. Like I don't want to say no, but I don't want to agree with it. This was their social media page.
I've sent images. I mean, I've sent messages to people that have died, not knowing that they died. And then it's like a weird thing. Like that's not the message I wanted. Like someone else is
right. That changes it.
And then to close out those accounts, I read that you need to provide a death certificate. So like, yeah, you need like almost a court order to close down the account.
That's weird.
That's hard to. That's just a weird thing to do.
It is, and we'll end on blinds to go. Do you know who they are?
Yeah, they give you blinds on the website, right?
You know what blinds are? Privacy. Think about it. Alexa. I was going to answer to play Seek and Destroy. I can't. Tell me a joke.
What do you call an elephant on hockey skates? An icebreaker.
She's good. Hey, Google, tell me a joke.
What did the marlin say to the swordfish?
I don't know.
You're looking sharp.
Oh, nice addition there.
We gotta go.
Yeah,
we gotta go.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We like you. We'd love your data. If you would give us, we value your data. Give us your socials. Give us your credit card numbers. Give us anything you want. We'll hold on to it. Would you do a guarantee?
A guarantee.
Someone gave us a social or a credit card. I would hold it within up to $10,000 worth of value. I would do it. If someone's offering me, if someone gave me data, like their credit card data and their social, and another company came and said, "I'll offer you $9,000 for it," I'd say, "Sorry, that's my friend."
But $11,000, she'd be like,
"Oh yeah, I'm sorry, it's sold. I really apologize, but up to $10,000, I will keep your data safe and secure." Something to think about, folks. We like you. We like you to $10,000 ish. Thanks.
Yeah. Good night.